Yeah. So these are the five modules that we'll be covering in our sessions, upcoming sessions. And to start with, we will start with the general ledger module. So basically, the general ledger module is kind of an accounting repository, wherein whatever transaction that we are making in our sub ledger modules like accounts payable, accounts receivable, will be sent out to our general ledger module at the end of the day, or as in the transaction is created. Okay. So this is our base. So to start with, basically, if you take general ledger module, we have certain functions inside it. So that is to create the journal entries or to review it or certain reports. If I want to take it out of it, I can take it. And apart from that, we have this one. What do you call it? Give me a minute. Let me share it again. Yeah. So apart from that, we have certain financial capabilities as well. That is in terms of balance sheet or profit and loss. So we have certain flexibilities in terms of configuring the reports without any technical assistance. So we will see once we complete our basic configurations in GL and the other things, the ledger and chart of accounts and the other things. So to start with, this is our base, and we will be starting with our basic configurations, and we will see budgets, and then we will see the financial reports, how to create it, and we will create a sample report. So you can try out with the instance that is shared to you. Probably you should have received the instance details. If not, probably I can share it in the group, and you can practice as in the classes over. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Give me a minute. It's getting loaded. Yeah. Can you see my screen?
Okay, sir.
Yeah, fine. So we'll start with basics. So to start with, so we call four C's in configuring our primary books, that is primary ledger. Okay. So if at all I want to configure, I need this four C's to be in place. So the first thing is currency. Then we have calendars, and okay, probably I'll just put it in Excel so that it will be clear. Okay, so these are the four C's that we will need in order to configure our primary ledger. So why we will need primary ledger is that is when basically we can do any or create any JV or the journal entries inside the system. Or let's say I want to do the budget. So I need I need this primary ledger. So in order to configure primary ledger, the prerequisites are currency, calendar, chart of accounts, and accounting convention. So here currency we know, let's say INR, and calendar we know, physical year, and then the chart of accounts. So I'll explain chart of accounts separately and accounting convention. So accounting convention will basically determine how we wanted to account our transaction. So we have two things. Okay. So we have cash accounting and we have accrual based accounting. So what is cash based accounting is that we can see a small business like or probably we can take supermarket like Walmart or Big Bazaar or kind of a supermarket wherein we will walk in and we will purchase the items. So here we don't have any time limits that we will make the settlements. As in we purchase the item, we are going to settle this particular transaction. So this we call as an cash-based accounting. Okay. So the moment the transaction happen, immediately the accounting will happen. So this is what we are calling it as an cash-based accounting system. And the second thing we have as an accrual. So accrual is something that we will not pay it immediately. Instead, we will have term days. So term days might be 7 days, 14 days, 3 days, 30 days, anything. It could be even 60 days or 90 days as well. Okay. So when a business or let's say manufacturing unit, this is starting their business, so it will not have the cash based accounting system. Always it will be accrual based system. Cash based system will be applicable only kind of an supermarket or this kind of retail business, but mostly it will be accrual based system. Accrual based system in the sense that payment or the transaction will not be accounted immediately. Let's say I create an invoice today, but the payment will happen after 7 days. So I cannot account this particular transaction or complete this transaction. Instead, it will have a certain life cycle. Okay, so this is what we call as an accrual based accounting system. Okay. Any doubt in this, or we can start chart of accounts?
What is the full form of COA?
This is chart of account. Chart of account
Chart of account.
is the
What is
full
the
form.
main purpose?
Yeah. Uh, Sorry, I missed your question. What was that?
Okay, sir.
No, no, it's okay. You can ask me. I can tell you. Yeah, what was your question?
Sir, in calendar, which year, how do you consider calendar?
Yeah, calendar setup, we have it separately. So let's say I have two different countries. So I will have to set it up differently. So we will have setups and the other things. So I'm just explaining what is what now. So we will see how to set it up and other things after we complete our Excel part. Okay. Yeah. Anything else? Or we can move on. Hello.
Hello, sir.
Okay. Okay. So I'll explain what is chart of accounts or COA. So chart of account will basically determine how we record any transaction. So this is comprising of segment, value set, and structure. Okay. So here my structure is my kind of an what you call, we can say this is parent, which means this controls value set, segments and values as well. So inside value sets we will have values. So the combination of value set we are attaching it to the segment, and we will have 3 to 4 segments probably. So this collection we will say as a structure. So let me give an example here. So I have a manufacturing business. Okay. So here it will be a kind of an 6 months project. So wherein I will manufacture pipelines. Okay. So for this, how I will define my chart of account structure is that. So basically the thumb rule is that we will need 2 segments by mandatory. So one is company and the other one is account. Okay. So apart from that, what are the information that I wanted to capture? So the way I need to add multiple segment is that this will help me in terms of reporting. So let's say I have different projects and tomorrow I want to understand the profitability of this particular product wise segments. So I'll be able to take it up when I use this as a separate segment in chart of accounts. So basically, this chart of account is nothing but this form a combination of values that user will punch in, and this will be used for the better reporting. Okay, so this is the purpose of having the chart of accounts. So now inside chart of account, what do I have? So inside chart of accounts, I have segments. So segment could be anything. So I can have company, I can have account, and I can have product, I can have projects, and I can have department as well. Okay. So now, how do I, how will system understand this is the segment that should be considered as a company? So we have something called qualifiers. So using qualifiers, basically, it has been identified that this segment is a company segment. For example, if I want to say this is an company segment, I will say this is balancing segment. So if it is a balancing segment, it is a company segment. Then how will I identify nature? I mean account. This is natural account. Okay. So similarly, we have other segments as well, project and department and the things like cost center. So based on this qualifiers, we are identifying that this segment belongs to company. This segment belongs to account. Either way, we can say it. Okay. So this way we are identifying this is a segment. So now I have created segment. If at all I want to add any values or give any values while I'm making the transaction, let's say creating the invoice. So I will need certain data inside it. So how will I add data into it? So I will need this value set. Okay. So I will say company value set. Okay. Under this company value set, I will say 001. So my 001 is company one and 002 is my company 2. Okay. So now when I'm creating an invoice, what will happen is that system will give a prompt saying that select the chart of accounts. So there I will select either I'm doing transaction from 001 or 002. So this way, tomorrow when I want to take report out of it, I can very well take out of it because I am recording each and every transaction with company one or company two or account, maybe any account that if I want to take. So based on this, I can derive better reporting in terms of financials. Okay. So with this, we form our structure with the help of segment value set and these things, we form our structure. So when the structure is ready, so that is when we will say that CO is ready for creating the ledger. Okay. So once this 4C are ready, So that is when we say that we will be able to create the primary ledger. So any doubt in this?
No, sir.
Okay. So we'll move to application.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So first step is to create the calendar. So to create the calendar, so we have two setups. So one is types and the other one is accounting. So type is nothing but it is kind of an classification. How do we want to track our calendar? So let me say IND calendar and period per year, I would say it is 13 because it is 12 plus 1. So this one is adjustment. So adjustment is for the purpose of year-end closure and the other activities. So I'm just saying 1 year as an adjustment. So here, if you see calendar type, we have either the calendar or the fiscal. So fiscal is ours because we are taking Indian scenario, that is April to March. So if when we say calendar, that is from January to December. Okay. So now we are done with calendar type. So we will create our accounting calendar.
Okay, sir. My question was,
Yeah.
uh, when you have opened this window,
So
how to open
uh,
this window?
yes, yes, 1 minute. So this will be our landing page for the general ledger module. So here we have setups. So under setups, I have something called
Sir, sir,
financial.
sir. Arun, sir.
Yeah,
Means, like, we are also getting credentials, right?
yeah, yes, yes.
So, from the credentials, can you explain this?
Okay,
Means from starting.
yeah, okay, okay. So once we log in, so this will be
Huh,
our page, landing page. So
correct.
from here, we will say, let's say I want to go to general ledger module. Okay, so I'll click this, and from here I have setup, and from setup I have financials, and under financials I have calendar. So under calendar I have types which we defined already, and below type we have accounting. So this is our navigation. So once we click this accounting, a Java
Mhm.
will open something like this. Okay, so form will open like this, and from there we will select the calendar. Basically, if you open from there, it will open automatically. Since we have opened it already, I'm showing it from here. Yeah, fine.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so I'm just giving a name. So this is based on a business naming convention. Okay, so here we have profits. So I'm not complicating here. So I'm just saying Jan, and I'm attaching the calendar type that we created in the earliest step. Okay, so the year is 2021, and this is quarter. Since I'm creating it from April, so this is my first quarter. Okay, and number is the sequence. The number of periods that we gave is 13. That is 12 plus 1. So I'll say this is 1, and I'll say April. Okay, so once this is done, what we'll do, we'll just press down arrow, it will create a new line. So we will create the subsequent periods. So quarter still we will say 1 and the number we will say 2. So I will just
So what
create,
is the purpose of that quarter and number?
so quarter is financial identification to say that first 3 months is quarter 1, second 3 months is quarter 2, subsequently 3 and 4. So for a year we will have 4 quarters. And
Acha, means we divide the year in the four parts.
yes, correct. Correct. Okay, and the number which we are saying is that actual number, that is month 1, month 2, month 3, month 4. So we are just giving more classification to our calendar. Fine. Okay. So this will become my second quarter.
Yes.
Sir, we
Yeah,
can add all quarters in a 1 month, or it will not work if we want.
no, I
I mean,
couldn't
in the
follow.
first quarter, if I want to add all the months of the year, it will work
Okay.
or not?
No, in this case, I mean, system will not restrict you in doing it, but this is used for what do you call the segregation. But you can use it. You can say one as an for all the months, and you can use it. That is not
Acha,
an issue.
acha.
Sir,
Yeah, yes.
why are you start from April?
No, because that is 2022. By mistake, I gave 2021. So that's why I changed it.
Ah,
So this is year actually. Year wise, if you see January, it is 22. By mistake, I gave it as this one. So that's it. So this would be my adjustment period.
after March adjustment period had, sir.
Yeah, because this is just for our adjustment period where we will be closing our books. Okay. So this is only one day that is considered, but in real time, if you see, this is one period that is on the month of March. So March, we are segregating into two pieces. So one is 1st of March to 31st March, and the last date that is 31st March. So this we will keep it as a separate period by itself for the purpose of our book closure and the adjustment entries and the reconciliation. Everything will happen in this one period. That is on the one day, that is 31st March to 31st March. So this is not limited only to one day. So if at all there is a requirement to have it, let's say 1 week, so we can have very well, we can have it for 1 week also. So based on the requirement. So one validation is that we will have to check this. So unless we check this, system will not understand this is an adjustment period. Okay. Any doubt?
Sir, name last name column, sir.
Sorry, this one.
ADJ 22.
Yeah, this is the so this is based on the code that is written by Oracle. So how this will work is that it will pick the combination of this particular profits and the last two digit of the year that we are giving it here. So in this case, if you see, I have given 2021. So it will pick a last two digit that is 21 and it will combine November and 21. So this is how it will generate the name.
Okay.
We cannot change it, right?
Yeah, we can change. If you want to change, we can change, provided we don't have any space or these things in between. But we can change. Let's say I wanted to change it to adjustment 22. I can change.
Oh, yes.
So, sir, in case we done any mistake in that, in the typing or something, it is
Okay.
reflecting something, means like any window for that notification.
Okay, you're saying this one. Yeah, it will show. Let's say I gave space in between this. So it will tell me that this cannot have space. So these validations are there. It will give a kind of a pop-up.
Acha.
Yeah. Any other doubt?
Sir,
Uh,
in the type of that indicate Indian calendar, how many type of calendar you can add in it?
in type, basically, we have, in type, we have only two things. So one is fiscal calendar and the other one is normal calendar. So that is either we wanted to have it from Jan to December or we wanted to have from April to what do you call March. But
Acha.
we don't have any restriction in terms of adding types of calendar. Any type we can add it. So that is possible.
So, how many type it's showing for add? If we click on the select on Indian calendar.
Okay. So if I select from here, I'll have a number because this is a test environment. So in real time, whatever that we are creating there, so we will be getting in this list. But here, if you see, the list will be huge. Okay. Yeah. Anything else? Any other doubt, or we'll move on?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So I'm just giving it only for the current calendar that we are configuring. So what this program will do is that basically this will validate the calendar that we have created. So even though we have certain validation inside this form, so there are few validations that system cannot perform when we are creating this. That is, let's say we have given period as on 13, but we have created only 12 periods. So the 13 period, that is adjustment, still we have not created. So these kind of validations inside form we cannot have it. So that is the reason we have this report or the program. So this program, what it will do is that it will validate and it will tell us that there are no violation, or it will say that there are few exceptions that has been given. So I'll just run for current one. So to check this exceptions, the navigation is here. We have view, and from view we have request. Okay. So if I want to create or run any new program, I will say submit a new request. Since system has already triggered this program, I'll say find. So from here I can get my program. So I'll click view output. Okay. Yeah. So this is our calendar basically, the IND calendar. So this does not have any violations. So only thing is that this 2022. So this is the only thing it was showing there. So let's take this on and check it. Okay. So that's it on the exception part. Okay. So we are done with our first C, that is calendar. So the second C is currency. So currency basically, if you see, we don't need to basically create any new currency. It is a seeded one given by Oracle. So we will not need any new entry in the system unless some of the currencies that is being disabled or anything. So that is when we will need. Okay. So let's say now I don't remember the navigation. So how do I get the desired the function? So I'll say control L. So control L will give me list of functions that is available under this module. Okay. So I'll say calendar. Sorry, currency. So here I have multiple lists that is given. So this is concurrent request that we can see, and daily rates and the recurring journals. These things we don't need it as of now. So we will see it when we are creating the transaction. Okay. So the we check that we wanted to do is the currency. So I'll take currencies and I'll click OK. So this will open the actual currency form. So now I don't know how to take the exact record. So here we have two things. So one is the query from here. I can check from here. Let's say I wanted to check INR. So I can check from here. So this is my record. Okay. So we can see that it is already created, and let's see if it is enabled. We can see that this is enabled. Okay. So now we have INR as our code and Indian rupees is the actual name of the currency. And then if we see, we have two precision. So basically, what is precision? So precision is something that we are saying that beyond this limit after a point. So how much decimal that I can use. So that we will specify here in the precision. Okay. Yeah. So others are not mandatory. Even the effective date is not mandatory. So we can just verify whether the currency is enabled. If not, we will enable it here and we will say. So that's it on the currency spot. Okay. So we are done with two things. So currency and calendar. And accounting conventions, we are not customizing anything there. So we are using as it is. So we will see it when we are creating the primary ledger. Okay. Yeah, so I'll start with chart of accounts. So in order to create chart of accounts, basically we will need value sets. So the navigation is I have setup. Under setup, I have financial. Under financial, we have flex field. That is key flex field or descriptive flex field. So descriptive flex field is kind of an additional information that we wanted to capture, but key flex field is the one that we want to capture for our chart of accounts. So I'll say key flex field. And under this, if you see, we have multiple options inside it. So what I'll do, I'll click this one, segment. So this will be our key flex field segment configuration. So I'll say search. So from here, if I just type G, I will have general ledger. So here I have two to three different types. So that is accounting flex field, and I have a GL ledger flex field and reporting attributes. So these are used for the reporting thing, like it will replicate as it is what is there in the accounting flex field. So I'm not going into this as of now. So I'll say general ledger accounting flex field. Okay, so to create a new structure, I'll say control down arrow. Okay, so let me say Tata COA. Okay, so this is my structure name. Okay, so let's say I'll be using this for my integration. So integration is nothing but we will have different application that is involved into it. So we will have core system and probably EBS is our reporting system. So we will have this view name. So the reason why we will have view name is that it can be used in terms of linking between the applications. This is backend ID that can be used. Okay, so now we are not going through this integration and the other part. So I'm just leaving these two options as it is, and I'll click segment. Okay, so here I will have two segments as a mandatory. So one is company and the other one is account. So unless I have these two segments there configured, so I'll not be able to basically do anything or proceed further. Okay, so here we have a minimum and maximum segments. So the minimum segment that we can have is two. and the maximum is 30. So more than 30, it is not allowed because it is a huge data entry burden. So that is the reason it is avoided by Oracle. So I'll say company. Okay. So this I have given. So let me first create the segment, and probably after this I'll create the value set. So this is my company and this is my account. And if you see here, the column that I'm giving it here is nothing but the place of the database where I want to store these values. So now I have created company. So under company, I might have what do you call different, let's say company one, company two. So if I want to save this, I'll save it under segment one. Okay, so that is the purpose of having this. Okay, so I'm done with this. So now let me create a value set. So I'll say here. Okay, so here we have certain controls that we can have if required. So we have list of values. So whether I want to have a kind of a list of values, or I want to have a lengthy list of values wherein I'll just scroll down and check whatever the details I want to get. I'll say list of values. That is the what do you call the standard approach that is being used in the industry. So I'll take this one. And apart from that, if you see, we have pop-up list also. So it will show kind of an pop-up. From there, we can select this. So this pop-up will be mostly used for the alerts and the other things. So since we are using the chart of accounts, I'll pick the standard one, that is list of values. Okay. So now we have a security part. So if I want to have security, I can have. So when we say
So
secure, yeah.
what is the type, like the type list used, like different type of list they are providing, like three type of list of values.
Hmm.
Other thing
Yeah.
is that, can you show it?
Yeah. So one is list
Yeah,
of
long
value.
list of value and pop list.
Yeah, correct. So
What
list
is the
of
use of that?
yeah. So whole list of value is something like this. So when I open this, let's say I'm opening this, so I'll have a kind of unlimited amount of data that is being shown. So this I will say a list of value. When I say long list of value, so this is not only a short list, but it will have all these records that has been entered in the system. So that is the difference between list of value and long list of value. When I say pop-up list, so this will show kind of an pop-up. Like when we open anything, so system will say that you have entered so and so thing. So those kind of population will be shown in the system, and we will pick any value from that given pop-up list. So that is the difference between each. Any doubt? Or we can move?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so the next thing is security. So when we say security, so we have two things. So whether we want to have security based on the hierarchy, or we wanted to have the security based on the non-hierarchy. So hierarchy is nothing but parent and child combination. So let's take an example wherein we have a table chair and those things. So our table chair and these things we call as an child values, and the furniture, whatever the categorization that we are giving. So this we call as an hierarchy, what do you call the parent value. So this we call as an hierarchy or the parent and child relation. So in this case, if I want to have a hierarchy based security, so whatever security that I have given it for my parent value, so this will be copied for my child values as well. So this we call as an hierarchical security. So when we say non-hierarchy security, which means whatever the validation or the security that I have given it for my parent value, so this will not be copied. So it will give only the security whatever I have given it for this particular segment of the value set. So that is the difference between it. And no security is something that without security. So I'll say non-hierarchy security. Any doubt in this?
So in this both, which one is mostly used?
So mostly used is non-hierarchical security because business doesn't want to have the security that is being used by the parent. So parent might be using different security for different reason, but I don't want to have the same security here as well. So most of the cases it will be non-hierarchical security. Okay. Anything else?
I guess no.
Okay. Okay. Then we have format validation. So format validation is something that how do we want to have our format this thing defined. So let's say I'm giving this as a number. So I'll not be able to enter any character that is A, B, C, anything I'll not be able to enter. I'll be able to enter only number. So again, this is used for the purpose of reporting and the other aspects. So for our case, we will use only the characters, but we have other options also. If we want to capture date and time, and standard date. So these things will be used only for the reporting. So I'm choosing character. Okay. So now we have a maximum size that this can have. So which means whether I want to have 10 character, 20 character, whichever limit that we want to set it up, we can set it up. So let me say sits as in character size. Okay. So the final validation that we have is value validation. So how do we want to validate our values? So most commonly used is dependent and independence. So the remaining are only for the reporting purpose. Okay. And the translatable and this one also again it is used for the reporting purposes. Okay, so I'll take a moment to explain each one of it. So basically, dependent is kind of an what do you call the parent and child combination, which we explained in the earlier this thing security part, wherein I will have a parent value that is furniture. So based on the furniture, I will give another value that is my chair or table. So that we call as an dependent. Okay. And we have independent. So independent is something that this will not rely on anything. So let's say building. So building doesn't rely on anything. So this we can call it as an independent value. Okay. And then we have pair. So pair is nothing but it is used in reporting where we wanted to fetch a particular record from a given source, the view or anything. So that we call as a pair. So the pair and special that is almost similar or common we can say. So both are same feature. And then we have table. So table is something that we will have the table. So inside it we will have certain values. So unless the value is not present there, system will not allow us to complete the transaction. So whatever value that we will see there, so it will be stored in table. So that is the meaning. Okay. And then we have translatable, independent and dependent. So these are same like after translating, we will have independent and dependent. Okay. So I'm just selecting independent. Any doubt in this?
There this is important why are blind.
Can you repeat once again? It's not clear actually.
The previous important why are blind.
Sorry, your voice is breaking.
Sir, we just want to ask you the precision column that is
Press.
near to the maximum size. Precision
Okay.
column.
Yeah.
Why we are not putting anything in this?
No, no, this is grayed out. See, whatever you have it in white or whatever you have it in yellow, you will be able to give value. So if you see
Acha.
here, even if I enter, it will not allow me because this column is frozen. The reason is that I have selected character. So precision will be
Acha.
allowed when we have numbers. So let's say I change it to number. So now I can say maximum size and I'll be able to give the precision limit. That is after point. So how much limit that I can have? Two or three. So after precision I can give. Since I'm selecting this as a character, I'll not be able to uh, give any values here.
So in the maximum size, how much size we can put it? Means max to max, how much size we can put that?
So this is suggested to minimize this because the reason is that this will create a load in the value set. So if you give more number, because it's not only a configuration part, it is also the data loading and the other things. So we are seeing only for our understanding, but in real time, if you see the loading the values, we will not load it or we will not create it manually. So we have a tool called data loader. So using this data loader tool, basically we will load the values. So considering, let's say I have an account code wherein I have 1000 or 1500 values. So if I load and the transaction load that is happening, so this will affect here. So it is always suggested to have the maximum size to probably 10 to 15 inside it. So that is suggestible. Okay. Yeah. Anything?
No doubts about it.
Okay, we'll move on. Okay, so I have created for company segment. So similarly, I'll create one for accounting segment as well. So department, I'm not creating it. I'm just picking from the available list. Okay, so I have created the segment and I have attached the value set. So now the next step is to give the flex field qualifiers. So if you remember in the initial understanding thing, so we saw we need to give the qualifiers. So basically that is when a system will understand that, okay, this segment is balancing segment or the company segment. So I'm clicking on the company and I'll click flex field qualifier. So here, if you see, we have totally six validations are the qualifier labels. So now we have balancing segment, we have natural. So balancing segment, we know that it is used for company. So the reason why we are calling this as a balancing segment is that basically the our debit and credit will match. So it's not mandatory that we wanted to have this balancing segment only for company. So it is based on the business requirement. They can have it for project also, or if they want to have it for product, so that is also possible. Okay, but the very nature of this qualifier is that it will balance debit and credit in journals. Okay, and then we have a natural account. So natural account is used for identifying our accounts combinations or the categorization. So how it will determine is that it will have liability or asset or any classification. So we will see when we are loading the values. So for now, it is an understanding that this is used for identify the accounts. Okay. And then we have a cost center. So cost center is used to identify our department. Okay. And then we have intercompany segment. So intercompany segment is used wherein we have probably so we will see it when we are seeing the ledger configuration. So intercompany is a different concept by itself, wherein we will have multiple legal entities and how it becomes intra-company and intercompany. So we will see in detail there. So for now, this segment will identify whether this is an intercompany or intra-company. Okay. And then we have management segment. So management segment will basically identify the profit and loss and the other things. So this is only for the tracking purpose. So two things are for tracking purpose here. So one is management segment and the another one is secondary tracking segment. Okay. So the secondary tracking is again a kind of an tracking thing. So this will not have a huge impact in terms of validations in these segment values. So I'm selecting balancing segment for our company, and for account I'm selecting natural account. Okay, so department is our cost center. So I'm enabling it here. So after enabling, we will have to save it. Unless we save it, this will not reflect actually. Okay, so this is done. So we are done with our basic configurations that we have created the segment. And for each segment, we created the value set, and for values, we gave the qualifiers. So now what we will do is that we will freeze this flex field. So the reason we are freezing this is that anyone who has access to it will not be able to edit or do any changes. So provided they don't have access to unfreeze this. Okay. So I'm freezing this. So after freeze, we will do compile. So the reason we are giving this compilation is that this will make sure that there are no validations. So we gave the simple structure, so we will not have any validation. So this is giving a pop-up stating that completed successfully. Okay, so our chart of account is ready. So only the values needs to be added. So we will see how to add values there. So before that, last option is that we have a segment separator. So segment separator is nothing but the separation between each segment. If you see here for our structure, we had three segment. So that is company and account and department. So here I have selected dot. So what will happen is that let's say company segment is 01, it will say dot and probably double one double zero dot 00. So this is kind of a separator. Okay. And another option we have is allow dynamic inserts. So allow dynamic inserts is used to create the combination on the fly. So we have, let's say company, we have added 10 company and 500 accounts we have added and probably 10 departments we have added. So each will create different combination. So now if I have enabled this allow dynamic insertion, so which means system will generate what do you call the combination automatically. But whereas if I have given this one, or you call, if I have disabled this option, so I will have to create the combination manually. So that is not possible. So that is why it is always suggested to use this option, allow dynamic inserts. Okay. And then we have other two things. So that is roll up groups and cross validation rule. So this we will see it when we are seeing the transaction once we complete our setups. Okay, so that's it. We are done with our structure configuration. Any doubt in this? Or
No,
we
sir.
can, okay. Okay, we are done with the structure. So now what we will do is that we will add a few values to it. Okay, so I'll add two values to company. Okay, so this will be our qualifiers. So unless we give this option as yes, so we will not be able to post a transaction, whatever we created in supply chain. So I'm just giving option as yes for both. So probably if I want to disable budget, I can disable it here. Okay. So to go to the next segment, I'll have to click here and press down arrow. I think I have given more numbers, so that's why it's taking more zero. Okay. So since I have given a natural account for this particular segment, so system has identified this is a natural account, and these are the qualifiers to it. So this we call it as an segment qualifiers. So the earlier qualifier what we saw is flex field qualifiers, and this is our segment qualifier. Okay, so these are the qualifiers that we will have. That is allow budget, allow posting, and apart from this, we have account type. So account type would be asset, liability, expense, revenue, and ownership equity. So these are like the basic terms that is used by finance. So the same thing given by Oracle. Okay, so I'm selecting this nature of account, that is ownership equity, and then we have third party control account. So when do we use third party control account is that when we wanted to restrict the entries directly created in the GL module. I don't want user to give the manual addition because they might create any adjustments or something in GL directly instead of booking an invoice in AP or the AR module. So for those cases, what I can do is that either I can say restrict manual journals, which means it will only restrict the manual journals for this account, whichever we are specifying it here. So this account cannot be used for manual journal entry or any adjustment entries in GL module. Okay. And the other options that I have is customer and supplier. So when I say customer or supplier, so if I say supplier, which means this will validate AP with the proper references numbers. So it will have the supplier name and the other details. But whereas when I say customer, it will validate the AR part of it with the customer and the reference numbers there. But when I say yes, which means it will validate either the supplier or the customer. So it will validate the subledger references. So that is the difference between each one of it. Any doubt in this? Okay. So the next thing that I have is reconcile. So reconciliation, we have two things. So one is that inside the general ledger module are reconciliation between different applications, that is AP to GL reconciliation, and we have AR to GL reconciliation, and we have CMS to GL reconciliation. So this reconciliation, the option yes or no that we are giving is only for the GL module, that is account wise reconciliation. So I don't want to have reconciliation for retained earnings since this is only for the purpose of year closure and the other activities. So I'm leaving this reconciliation option open for this. Any doubt or we can move on?
lower column are values, sir. Why are blank?
Which one?
The total two values column translated to column.
You're
Why are
saying this
blank?
one? No, I'm not getting exactly. Where are you saying?
That value you put something, but it's taking only 000. What is the issue on that?
No, no, it's not
Yes.
issue. If you see, we have given to start with what do you call the numbers. So if you remember, we gave for two, and the other one we selected from the available list. So from
Hmm.
that list, basically it has picked this number, that is 00.
Replace three then.
Yeah.
So first in the 000, and then in the last that number is there, right?
Yeah, that's what the segment, I mean, value set that we created is different, and system has picked as a different one. I mean, we picked it
Acha,
differently. So that's it.
acha.
Okay. Yeah. Anything else?
So by
Yeah.
mistakenly we put the wrong value
Okay.
over there. So how will we get that the no value is getting wrong? How we can see that what the value we put over there?
The value we entered here is different from the value actually it should have been entered, is what you are saying.
Yes, means we put the value, then we close all the process we completed.
Okay.
Okay, and by on the like in the last step we got it that value is something wrong, and we
Okay.
are unable to check which value is wrong. So how we can verify it?
This we should take in Excel, and probably we should verify. We don't have any process wherein system will verify if it is correct or wrong, because its record is with us, right? So system will not basically understand. So we can take Excel. From here we have an option to export. So this will export the file, and from there we should verify it manually. And
Acha.
even then, after we verify that this is a wrong record, so we will not be
Hmm.
able to correct this record here. So only option to is to correct it from the tables. Because if you see here, so once it is created, it will be frozen. We cannot change anything. We can change only the description. So if I want to change this, I should edit this particular value and create it a new one with the new value. Okay.
Can we delete it?
No, we cannot delete it. We can edit it. The reason why delete option is disabled is that user might have it habitual to delete this. If at all the value is deleted, it will become an audit trail in terms of reporting. Because
Hmm.
let's say I have the system for the past 2 years. So I have probably 2 years data, the financial data. Now today I delete this particular record. So the data concerned to this particular account code combination. So this will have what you call the data corruption and the other issues coming in. So that is the reason the delete option is disabled for this, and end date is given. So that we will have this
Okay.
record, instead it will not be deleted or taken out of the system.
We just need to put the end date, right?
Yes, correct. Yeah. Anything else? Or we can move on?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, let's wait for the compilation. Once this is done, we are good with this. Yeah. So this is done. Yeah. So next setup is to create the ledger. So the navigation is setups, financials, and here we have accounting setup manager. Okay, I'll just open this. Okay, so I'll say create accounting setup. Okay, so this will be our sequence to complete our accounting configuration. So as a first step, what I'll do, I'll create a legal entity. Okay, so I'm selecting territory as India. And so basically these are like legal informations that we will get it from the company. So while they are registering, these are the mandatory informations that they should input to government. So I'll have the legal entity name. So this is naming convention. I have given Tata Ali and organization name, actual org that has been registered with government. Okay, and a legal entity identifier. So this identifier can be anything. So I have given some numerical number and the PAN number. So these are mandatory inputs that we will have to give it. Okay, and then we have the legal address. So this is the address that is registered with government. So either I can select it if already created. If not, I can create it.
What is IC and CIC?
No, I'm not sure. These are like government records that we will have some sort of numbers. I'm not sure. So these are the mandatory values. So those things probably you should get from the customer if at all they want to capture. Okay, so I'm just giving the address details.
Hello, sir.
Hello,
Yeah, yes.
sir. What is the purpose of transacting entity? Yes or no? Means what is the difference if we said yes, and what will
If
happen if we said no?
if we say no, which means we will not be able to use this for any transaction. So let's say I want to create any invoice, I'll not be able to do it. So if I enable it, I'll be able to create any invoice or any sort of transaction. So that is what the meaning of transacting entity.
Creation, right?
Yeah, yes. Okay, so again, these are like the informations that customer will have to give the basic inputs, that is registration place and type and the share capital, all those information. Okay, so these are the inputs that we'll be giving to create the legal entity. Okay, so we have created the legal entity. So what we will do is that we will create the primary ledger. So I'll give name as startup PL, that is startup primary ledger, and I will select the chart of account that we created. And the calendar which we created. Yeah. And the currency. Okay, so now we have subledger accounting method. So subledger accounting method is nothing but our accounting convention. So we are picking our accrual based accounting. So apart from that, if you see here, so we have a list of other options as well. If you see here, SLAM, federal, and the normal federal, everything is there because it has been customized. So when we will customize is that, let's say there is a requirement. So this subledger accounting method is nothing but how do we want to account any transaction. So that is the given understanding. So now let's say I don't want to happen my accounting for based on let's say the standard setup. I want different department to be picked up when I process this particular transaction. So what I will do is that I'll customize it. So when I customize it, I will have to create a separate subledger accounting method. So which I will attach it to my primary ledger. So that's why we are seeing 01A and the other things. But the standard one is standard accrual. Okay. So I'll just pick the standard accrual. So in terms of functionality, we have only cash or accrual. So cash is something that it will be recorded immediately, and accrual is something it will take time to record it. So till that recognition, we will say this is an accrued thing. Okay. And then if you see here, so we have reporting currency. So we have two, three things here. So one is that secondary ledger, and we have reporting ledger. So what is the difference between a secondary ledger and the reporting currency, or when do we exactly use this? Is that, let's say I have a requirement wherein customer is in two different countries, let's say India and US, or let's not say US, let's say Singapore, because the calendar is same for India and Singapore, but whereas for US and India it is entirely different. So let's say the same calendar, same chart of accounts, and everything is same. Only the currency is different. So management wants to have it reported in the different currency, but everything will be same. Only the currency will be different. So for those kind of requirement, what we can do is that we can add reporting currency. So after adding it, this will create as a separate ledger. Okay. So once that is created and the link is created, whenever we create any transaction, the trial balance can be drawn out of the what do you call the Singapore currency instead of having it in INR and converting it each values. So that is the purpose of having reporting currency. And the second thing that we have is secondary ledger. Secondary ledger means, or when will I use secondary ledger, is that there is a requirement that I will have a different accounting calendar. Let's say company is operating in India, but whereas the actual business is in US. So I don't want to see it in INR. I wanted to see it in USD. So since the calendar is different, we cannot use just adding reporting currency. So what I will do is that I will attach different calendar, and I will attach the currency as an USD. So in this case, I will have two different things. So one is currency and the other one is calendar. But still I will have the same accounting convention and chart of accounts. Okay, so this is the purpose of using the secondary ledger. And again, I have a different requirement also, wherein even the chart of account will be different because it's not only one business that I'm running. I might be running multiple businesses. So for each line of business, I will need a different chart of account. So what I will do is that I'll create another chart of account and I will create a different this thing. I'll create a different secondary ledger and I will create a mapping for it. Okay, so this way we can achieve our requirement in terms of reporting, financial reporting. Any doubt in this?
To add the reporting occurrence in the
Yeah, we can add. Okay. So I'm just picking it at balances. So basically we have three things. So one is journal and subledger and balance. So balance is nothing but, let's say I have an account called rent account. So I will see only the balances in this account, the closing balance or whatever it is. But I'll not be able to see the transactions or the journals. So if I want to see the journals, I can select the journal. Let's say I want to see the transaction as well. I can say subledger. Okay. Yeah. Anything else?
uh,
Okay. So whatever you have given, it is just displaying it here. So let me finish this and give the options for each one of it. So first step is to add the legal entity that we created in our first step. Okay. So next setup is to give the ledger options. Okay. So there are a few things that system will pick from our initial or the base configuration, that is ledger and the other details. Okay. And then here, if you see, we have something called first ever open period. So this should be thought through while we are doing the data migration. So data migration is nothing but taking the data from the old system and importing into our new system, that is EBS. So it is not that we will just take the data and place it here. So it is about migrating the financial data. That is, we should make sure the closing balance and the everything is in place. So we should check our first ever open period accordingly. So I will get only the data on April 21. So if I want to get the data before that, I should give the period accordingly. Okay. And then I have number of future enterable period. So future enterable period is nothing but the period that I can have it in open in the sense I will not be able to post it, but I can enter the journal entry and I can save it so that I can post it later, like when the period is open. So the reason why we have this feature is that there are a few customers, so wherein basically we will have huge entries that is created on the month end or the year end. So once this is done, give me a minute. Yeah. So once this is done, so probably after opening the periods, we will post this entries instead of wasting the entire day in creating the adjustment entries. We can just create and have it ready for the posting for the next day, so that the period closure activities will be smooth. Okay. So that is the purpose of having future enterable periods. And others are like we selected the subledger method and this thing, and the language is like English we are giving it. Okay. And then we have entered currency balancing account. So if we want to balance the amount, that is, let's say the entered currency is different from, so this will come into picture when we have foreign currency transaction. So for the Indian currency, we will not have any sort of this thing. But let's say there is an currency, foreign currency that is involved. So we will have certain discrepancies there. So on which account do we want to place it? So that account we can specify it here. So we did not create separate account for the current, currency balancing. So I'll leave this option for now. Okay. And then we have two other options. So if at all we are using cash-based accounting, so we can enable this option. If not, we can leave it as it is. And then we have balance subledger entries by ledger currency. So whether I want to balance it by the ledger currency. So if I balance it by ledger currency, so I will have discrepancies here in terms of decimals and the precision limits. So I will not enable this option as well. Okay. Any doubt, or we can move on? Okay. Okay. So now we have a retained earnings account. So what is retained earnings account? So retained earnings account is kind of an surplus earnings that has been placed in a company. So let's say, so this in a simple term, we can say this is a gain of a particular period or a particular year. So let's say I have 500 accounts. So this will be applicable for our profit and loss account. So now at the end of the year, I'll run certain program in order to identify whether this is a profit or loss, whatever it is happening. So system what will happen do is that it will transfer the entries from our P&L account, that is expense or revenue, to this retained account. And when we close the period, again this entries will be the balances will be posted to the respective P&L accounts. So that is the purpose of having this retained earnings. So this is mandatory option. So unless we give this particular account, we will not be able to complete our setup. So let me pick the retained earnings that we created. Okay, so the combination is there. So I'm just picking the combination. Okay. Yeah, we are done with our year-end processing setups, and the next part is journal processing. So here we have two, three things. So that is to use the suspense account. So suspense account, it is not advisable because we will not be able to reconcile this part. So if at all business wants to have it, probably they need to allocate a separate part for it, and they should eliminate this suspense account element from the TB or the balance sheet thing. but it is not generally advisable. So if at all business wants to have, probably a separate account has to be created, and this has to be attached here. Okay. And then we have rounding difference. So let's say the precision limit is being tracked. So using this account, we can track the precision differences. Okay. And then we have enable intercompany. So intercompany is something. Okay, let me explain first what is intercompany. Okay. So in this example, so we have a primary ledger. Okay. So this primary ledger has two legal entities, that is legal entity 1 and legal entity 2. Okay. So under this legal entity, we have operating unit 1 and operating unit 2. Similarly, we have three operating units under legal entity 2. So how are we defining this is an intercompany or this is an intra-company? So it is based on the transaction that is happening between different OUs or the operating unit. So let's take an example for an intra-company. So for the intra-company, let's say that the transaction is happening between, let's say, OU1 and OU2 of LE1. Okay. Okay. So OU1 and OU2. So this we call it as an intra-company. So how we are saying it as an intra-company is that any transaction that happened between any entities within the same legal entity. So this kind of transactions we are calling it as an intra-company transactions. Okay, but whereas the transaction that is happening between the legal entity one legal entity 1 of let's say OU1 and legal entity 2 of OU3. So this we are
OU
calling it
means
as an, yeah,
OU means
OU is operating unit. Okay, so operating unit is nothing but any branch office that is generating revenue or making expense. So this we call it as an operating unit. So operating unit in short form we can call it as OU. Let's take an example. So we have Big Bazaar. So Big Bazaar is present in T Nagar, it is present in Anna Nagar, it is present in Nandana. So each of the branch office or the sales unit, we call it as an operating unit. So in short form, we can say OU. Okay.
okay.
Yeah. So that's what operating unit is OU and legal entity we have it. So any transaction that is happening inside the legal entity, but between different operating unit. So this we call it as intra-company transaction. But whereas it is happening between the legal entity of the same primary ledger. So this we call it as intercompany transaction. Okay. And another one which we have is AGS, Advanced Global Intercompany System. So when we will use this AGS is that when we have a transaction that is happening between LE, I mean OE1 of LE of primary ledger 1 and OE2 of LE1 of primary ledger 2. So which means this is the transaction that is happening between the ledgers. So this we call it as AGAS or Advanced Global Intercompany System. Okay. Any doubt in this, or we are good to move? Okay. Maybe I'll move on. Yeah, so that's it about the intercompany thing. And then we have journal approval. So if I want to have approval to be defined for the journals that is being created or that is being received from the different application, so I can enable the journals here. Okay. And then if I have any tags for the journal entry, so that also I can enable it here. And then I have a journal reversal criteria set. Okay, so the journal reversal criteria set is nothing but the reversals that is needs to be created. Let's say I created any transaction in the given period, but that is by mistake I have created it. So I cannot delete this transaction since it is been posted already. So now if I want to take or create a nullify effect in the system or the TB, so what I will do is that I'll create an reversal entry. So how I will create the reversal entry is based on the criteria set that I have defined it here. Okay. And then we have currency translation options. So currency translation is nothing but revaluing the currencies. So why do we revalue currency is that, let's say I have foreign currency transaction. In this case, let's take India and US. So the currency rate today might not be same probably 10 days back. So definitely we will see a few changes. So this, how are we identifying whether this change is a profit to the company or this is a loss to the company? So this we are identifying through the process called translation. Okay. Yeah, so that's the point. So we will attach the rates. So we have different rates, that is corporate rate and the spot rate. So the difference between corporate rate and the spot rate is that corporate rate is a predefined rate and spot rate is it is based on time to time. So we will attach accordingly. And then we will attach the same rate for our average rate as well. And then we have cumulative translation adjustment account. So whatever the difference that is being tracked up, so that will be stored in this account. Okay. Yeah, and the final option here is that we have three things. So one is that journal reconciliation. So this journal reconciliation is for account-wise reconciliation, not between the subledger and the general ledger. Instead, it is inside the general ledger reconciliation. So I don't want to enable this because there is no need for it. If at all there is a requirement, we will enable it here. Okay. And then we have budgetary controls. So most of the companies will use budgets basically. So in order to have this budgetary control option, the first setup is to have it enable at ledger. So we will enable it here, that is enable budgetary control. And if I want to have the budget journal for this to have it load the funds and the other things, so I will need this option called require budget journal. Okay. And then we have reserve for encumbrance. So this account we will have to attach it here so that we will have this encumbrance and the other things configured. So the difference between encumbrance and budget is that whether this amount or the fund that is we are allocating is planned or unplanned. So planned is something we can call it as budget, whichever is unplanned, that we call it as encumbrance. Okay. So we will do all these configurations when we are seeing the budget. So for now, we will not enable these options. And then we have average balance. So average balance is something that balance if I want to see in an average mode. So that is when I'll enable. I mean, these are very rare features that is being used actually. Yeah. Any doubt till now, or we can move on?
Can you explain once again average balance?
Average balance is something that, let's say I have 10 transactions. So out of this 10 transactions, if I want to take the average balance, I can enable this feature called enable average balance. So that is when I will use this. So this is for the purpose of viewing the balance and the consolidated balance.
So which option is better for enable balance option and enable average balance consolidation?
Sorry, you are asking which option we will use for average balance.
Okay, sir.
No, I'm asking, is the question right?
Uh,
Means they are. He's asking, sir, what is the difference between both average balance and average balance consolidation?
So average balance is something that if I want to see for any particular account, let's say I have rent account and then I have probably the building construction account. So now if I want to see only the rent balance, so I can say that enable average balance. Let's say I want to consolidate or group both the things and say 100 plus 100, 200, I will say consolidated. So that's the difference. Yeah, fine.
okay.
Yeah. Okay, so we can just review the information whatever we have given. So if we want to make any changes, we can go back and make the changes. So I'll just do finish. Okay, so the status has changed to complete. So the next thing is to complete the reporting currencies part. Okay, so I'll just pick the corporate rate for now. Okay, so the next thing is to give the balancing segment values. So unless we give balancing segment values here, we will not be able to use it when we are creating the invoice.
Okay.
Balancing segment values. So balancing segment value is nothing but the value that we gave for our company segment. Okay. Okay, so here we can give it at ledger or we can give it at legal entity. So either way, it is possible. So on what cases we will give it for ledger and what cases we will give it for legal entity. So let's say I have 10 legal entities created under one ledger. So that is when I will give the balancing segment for each legal entities because I don't want to give access for my other companies to the operating unit which doesn't want to know. So I'll give at legal entity for those cases. But whereas I have only one legal entity and I have one ledger, so I don't need to give it at legal entity. So directly I can give it at ledger. So which means whatever the legal entities that has been operated under this ledger, it will have access to this particular legal entity. I mean, this particular BSV, balancing segment value. Okay. So I'll select 001. Probably let me select both the values. Yeah. So this is added. So I'll say complete. Okay. Let me add one value for legal entity. Okay, so we are done with BSV assignment. So the next setup is to create the operating unit. So I'm attaching the legal entity that we created. So I created one operating unit that is Tata OU1, and I have attached the business group and legal entity. So the legal entity is that we created, and the business group is nothing but kind of an conglomerate which will have multiple branches. Let's say I have 10 different operating unit are the legal entities. So that will come under one single business group. So this is basically based on the country of operation. So in this case, it is for India. So I have selected Vision Corporation. Okay. So for now, I don't want to add more operating units. So let me say complete. Okay. And the next thing is to give the intercompany accounts. So intercompany accounts will give it later when we are seeing the intercompany setups. So for now, I'll say complete and I'll say done. So the final option is to create the sequence. So let's say I want to have a different sequence that is defined for my journal entries. So I can say to create a new sequence or the assign the existing sequence. Okay, I think sequence is not there. Let me create a new one. Okay, so the sequence is created. So let me say complete and close this. Yeah, so our configuration part is complete. So as a final step, we'll say complete and close our accounting configuration. We'll say yes and close.
Sir, why you put percentage in before and after Tata name?
So if I don't know the what do you call the prefix or suffix, I know only some of the letters or the characters. So I'll say percentage and before that to identify the prefix percentage and after
Okay,
that
okay. Okay.
prefix. Yeah,
Means
that
he
is.
will take all the data where Tata name is included, right?
Yeah, yes, correct. Okay, I think the list is huge. Probably we'll see it in the options directly. Okay. Yeah. So we are done with our ledger setups. So after this, we will have to give certain profile options. So profile options is nothing but a set of controls where it will restrict system to view or restrict any data. So that is the reason of having the profile option. So profile options, we cannot set it up in GL module. So we will have to do it in our system administrator. So under profile, we have system. Okay. Okay. So before this, let me take through this one. So we have user and responsibility. So what is user and responsibility is that so if I want to do anything in the system, I will need an access. So I'll need user access. So that is the reason we create user. And if I want to access something, I will need responsibility. So directly we cannot attach anything like a function or anything. So basically this is attached through multiple parts. So we have functions. So function is nothing but let's say query any particular invoice. And we have submenus. So submenus are combination of it. So let's say submenus example we can say uh, what do you call to validate the invoice or anything we can say sub menus, and then we have menus. So menus is nothing but the combination like creating the invoice, viewing, or the reporting part. Everything will be combined and set as menu. So that is what we will be attaching it here. So after we attach menus here, basically we will have reports. So unless we attach the reports, we will not be able to access any of those reports, or probably we can restrict these reports in the request group, and we can attach to the user, because it is not that all users will have access to all reports. Certain users will have access to only the trial balance. So accordingly, we will set it up the controls and give it here. Okay. And then we have responsibility. So directly we cannot access the menus or the functions. So it should be accessed through responsibility. So we will create the responsibility and we will attach it to the user. So that is when user will be able to access it, provided he has access through this profile option, which we are going to set it up at the later part. Okay, so let me create one responsibility for GL.
Sir, how many topics are like we are conducting for today?
We will complete with this one, responsibility and user. You want to connect, we can connect, or probably if you want to have it tomorrow, we can have it. Your choice.
Yes, for today it is enough.
Yeah, yeah, no, no problem. We'll see it tomorrow. I'll just complete this one. That's it.
Correct. And sir, you can just share the what the topic you are conducting for tomorrow so that we can be prepared, right?
Yeah, yeah, sure. Okay, so so the responsibility is created. So next step is to create a user. So user, we can just give the name. So this will be the username for login and the password. And we will attach the responsibility that we created.
Everything install
ಹುಡುಗನಿಗೆ ಸಂಬಂಧ
एकदम नवीन है
नवीन पहले से सारा ना पुराना पहले से यूज
application है
Okay, so
स्टेप पूरा ERP
Oracle पे कितने तैयार केले
नहीं Oracle separately
yeah, so we will meet tomorrow. Hello. Can you hear me? Hello.
yes sir
Yeah. So we will meet tomorrow.
video for today.
Sorry.
Can you send this video for today
Yeah.
so
Yes.
that we
Yes.
can
Yes. Yes. I'll be sharing this video.
on which media, sir? Like WhatsApp or on mail?
No, we have this on OneDrive. So I'll be sharing the link with the access and everything. So from there you can download these videos.
That will be good.
Yeah.
And just ping us now. What is the tomorrow's topic?
Yeah, tomorrow's topic will be the transaction part of it. So I'll put the topics in a group so that you can also check that before class.
Okay.
Yeah, fine.
Sir, can you intro yourself a little bit so that we can understand?
Yeah,
Because intro
sure.
is missing, right, in the starting.
Yeah, sure. So my name is Arun. So basically, I'm into Oracle stream, that is EBS and Fusion Cloud. So I have almost 8 years of experience in EBS implementation, upgrade, and enhancements. And Fusion, I'm working for the past 2 years. So there are multiple implementation that I took in Fusion. So overall, I have 10 years of experience in Oracle platform, and apart from that, I've been involved myself into few other technologies like blockchain and this thing. So this is some what do you call these startup companies wherein I'll be kind of an advisor. So that's about myself.
And sir, I just want to know that if
Yeah.
we said implementation, I'm the HR, so
Okay.
I'm aware about that. Some guys done implementation, some guys support projects, some like integration.
Yeah.
So convergence also there, right? So what is the difference between that? Implementation means exactly what the thing they are doing.
So implementation means basically they will have any system, let's say SAP. So now client wants to move from SAP to Oracle from for any security or any upgradation reason. So in
Hmm.
order to do this, basically we will have multiple phases in doing this implementation. So first we will start with project planning and everything, and then we will have documenting phase, and then we will have CRP and the other things wherein we will get the requirements. So after this is done, we will start our configurations and these things. Okay. So we will give a walkthrough session to a client or the business, and then we will get sign off, and that is when we will say this is went live. So after live, we will have a 3 months warranty support. So that is whatever issue comes in, so we will be giving the support. So this entire life cycle we call it as an implementation thing. Okay. But in case of support, we will not have all those things. So only the reported issues, whatever it is coming up, so we will be assisting them in terms of solving it. So that is a simple way of doing it. I mean the implementation projects, but implementation is more lengthier process compared to our support thing, because support is only handling the issues, but
Right.
implementation is something
Already
like,
create that product, right? Someone
yeah,
already create that product. We just need to support them if any
yeah,
issue is arrived.
yeah, correct. So it's comparatively, it's more job for implementation consultant because he has to handle data migration requirement, all those things. Yeah. Anything else?
No, sir.
Okay. So in line.
You're from Chennai only?
Yeah, I'm from Chennai. Yeah. So if we don't have anything, maybe we will wind up today's call and we'll meet tomorrow. So I'll
Sure,
update the timings alone in the group. So we'll see for the common timings and we will meet up tomorrow.
okay, sure, sure.
Yeah.
And you understand Hindi, sir, so that if any problem is there, you can talk in Hindi
No,
for
I
long.
don't have problem. I mean, I cannot speak that much, but I can very well understand actually.
Acha.
Yeah.
You can understand.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we'll wind up, sir, for today.
Yeah. Yeah. Fine. Thanks. Thanks for
Thank you.
having me.